I'll start with that. But that wasn't really like where I learned how to do things. It was probably not until I graduated and started working at a music magazine as the videographer. It was a music magazine called The Fader. But I was like filming all sorts of concerts and interviews and just doing this night after night. I probably made like 1,000 videos for them in the course of 3 years. So that was kind of where I cut my teeth and like got some real experience.
Was it a connection through that magazine, through that job, that you got to meet Bill Callahan and get this film going?
Definitely, like, I definitely was introduced to him through the magazine, just his music, and I filmed him once for a performance that he did at Other Music. It was just like an in-store acoustic, and I think through that, because it was such an awesome experience filming that, that I knew, like, in my heart of hearts that was what, I really wanted to keep filming him, but it wasn't until years later that he released Apocalypse and that I decided to go through the proper channels and ask.
Was it as easy as that? You asked, he said, yeah, sure.
Surprisingly easy. One of those, kind of stars aligning things where he actually, I think, yeah, I just wrote him an email and he said, okay. Like a phoenix.
Did he? Did he have any parameters for you about what you could or could not shoot or include? Because he strikes me as a pretty kind of a private person.
I mean, I thought he might have parameters, and for that reason, I prefaced my filming of him with, hey, if I ever make you feel uncomfortable, like, just, do the whatever, stop the camera action, and I really wasn't trying to invade his life. Like, that was not what I was trying to do, so. But honestly, like, he never did that motion. Like, he was always very, like, you know, he let me do pretty much whatever, so.
We don't hear your voice in the film, which is fine for what you've done here. It's great. I mean, assuming that you were asking questions at certain points, um, you edited that out. What else kind of other things did you have to edit out? What on the cutting room floor do you have all like the wild after parties and the groupies or other stuff? What do you?
Cutting room floor. I mean,
Not that
honestly,
they have
like,
cutting room floors anymore, but
no, there are some things that I did film that I wasn't able to use just because they didn't really relate. Like, I filmed him in the studio mixing. After the tour was over, they played in Austin, like where he lives, and he was kind of, the whole band was so psyched from the whole tour still that they wanted to record a live version of the album, like in the studio. So they did that, and I filmed the mixing of that with his mixers, this guy named Brian Beatty, who's really funny. But it didn't. I was hoping that I could do like a Gimme Shelter thing. It's like, oh, here's the post like mixing, going back to it all. But doesn't really make sense if it wasn't a tragedy at Altamont. So.
all right. Let's see. Who has questions out here in the audience? Anyone want to ask something? You, yeah.
The whole fireworks at the end was really nicely put together, and just with the live performance, I really enjoyed that. Could you give a little bit of a backstory as to just that night and what was going on and where?
Sure.
Yeah. Can you just give the back? I'm going to repeat the question. Can you give the backstory to the night where the fireworks were going off? Because it was a nice moment.
The night of the fireworks. So I went up with him on one leg of the tour, and I was only planning on shooting like 5 nights, and I had to get back to work. So I went back to New York, and I just had this feeling. I was like, I have to go back. It's like Lost leaving the island, Like, it's like I got to keep going on this tour. Like, he's still on it. So I got some more time off of work, and I flew out to Chicago to do kind of a second leg. So that was like the first night or the second night or they had a day off. It was the 4th of July, and it was that party was at the owner of Drag City, this guy Dan Kay. It was at his house, and it was just like a really good vibe, and everyone was really happy. And Chicago, 4th of July. It was my first time experiencing that holiday in that city, which is my favorite holiday. So, but it was great because they had all these rogue fireworks going off all the time, like every point in the night, which is cool.
So you went on the first leg. It was 5 nights, and then you had to go back. How much time did you spend on the road? I kind of thought you were on a little tour or something.
Yeah, I mean, I really was only supposed to be there for 5 nights, and then when I went back, it was for like eight show nights with a couple of times here and there. But yeah, so it was a total of maybe like 14 days.
It doesn't seem. I don't know. You got a lot of footage. Who else has a question? Anyone in the back? Yes, please.
I was wondering, for the editing process, like, did you decide beforehand, before you went out, what you wanted it to be like, or you kind of just jumped in and then, like, what was the editing process
Yeah,
like
talk
for
about the
you?
editing process.
I really like. I didn't think a lot. I didn't conceptualize much at all before I left for Phoenix. I just kind of was filming things on the road and kind of had this vague idea of like what it would be, and everything I filmed kind of informed the edits. But I didn't start editing until like a couple months after I got back from tour. So, um, and that I started just with performances and kind of finding the best performance of each song, like kind of the best song and the best performance of it. And then I would sync up like 14 different concerts all on the same timeline with like with the best audio, and just try and make it all match. It's like a pretty fucked up way of working, but like it kind of led to more. Like I was able to cheat a lot and able to kind of like obviously this isn't all from the same concert, so just kind of taking that away from not worrying about like reality, and that opened me up I think a lot to just some